let's see if we can get this thing lowered and get this thing onto the bench. Before I cut these ears off when I go back with it. Ha-ha! Let's get this thing on the teardown bench and figure out what his problem is. I like to make sure the converter spins free. That feels pretty good there. Let's pull this thing out. It looks like those pump gears are a little chewed up. We'll find out when we get in there, but there she is. Pretty simple. I try to make it pretty easy around here. All right, everybody. Well, he dropped his truck off, and he said that the transmission was acting funky. It wouldn't stay into second gear. Third gear acted weird. The only thing that it had continuously was first and reverse. I drove the truck a bit, and all gears seemed to be there just off of first drive, whatever you want to call it. Seemed to be okay. So he wants this thing to hold some horses. It is a lockup model. The input shaft is smaller than the normal TH350s, and there is a small difference in the valve body section and the drum. The drums are a bit different as well. When we get into it, I'll show you what I'm talking about. We're approaching 25,000 subscribers, and I can't thank you guys enough for your continuous support. Thank you so much. We've got the cameras, new cameras, we got the new mics. I really like making these videos, and it seems like you guys enjoy watching them. So thank you guys so much. Sorry, it looks like I'm a bit tired. It is a little bit late here in North Carolina. I've been a little bit busy, and you guys are keeping me busy. Absolutely ridiculous, guys. Come on. Oh. All right, guys, at first glance here, this looks like a really good transmission. There is some clutch material here in the bottom. Now, that gray will match up in the forward drum. You'll see where it kind of embeds itself around the steels in between the frictions in the forward drum, and you can see where it kind of channels in the teeth there and inside of the drum channel, and it matches this color right there. So there's nothing too extravagantly wrong with this transmission. I would say that maybe there's something gummed up in the filter here, but he wants this thing built back up. So I tell you what, we're going to tear this thing all the way down, get it in the parts washer tonight, and get it on the table for tomorrow morning. So let's jump right into this thing. You got two bolts here for your filter, and they're always a flathead screwdriver. Now I can tell you here, normally, under this filter here, you'll be able to see if you got any sediment. You've got a little bit here. You've got a little bit of trash in this transmission, so we need to make sure that we blow these cooler lines out to get this excess trash out of here. This filter can actually be washed and reused, but we're going to get a better nylon filter for him. We're going to pop this selector spring off. And then this is your lockup solenoid. And there's a little O-ring down here under this that you've got to be careful with. These things freaking don't come in the kit. and finding a lockup kit's expensive. You need to just save the money here. It looks like this one might be embedded and built into this one, so we're going to leave that alone. I'm not going to put that in the parts washer. Go ahead and pull this wire harness off. There's nothing wrong with that. We're going to put that right on the table. Along here, all of these bolts for your valve body are 1/2 inch. Now you can check these valves if you get on top of them here. Pressure regulator valve is good. 1-2 shift valve is good. 2-3 shift valve is good. Manual low's good. D10's good. Valve body was working like it should, and he's got a red pressure regulator spring in there, so we're going to go back with this valve body. This valve body is good the way it sits. We are going to take these valves out, and just to make sure that there's no trash embedded into the channels in here where we can't see, down in the aluminum bores. These little valves sit in aluminum sleeves down here, and you've got to make sure they move freely as well. Nothing can be in a bind in these transmissions whatsoever. Just your support bracket, and then here is your lockup valve body. And there's a little valve in here. Never really gives you too much issues. Right in there. Pull this plate right off here with no problem. And the gasket as well. I never ever run these little filters they send. They get clogged up so freaking easy, and when you're working with old vehicles like we are, you're bound to have some trash, so it's better just to get clogged up in the filter. If something happens, change it out of the filter. That'll burn up a transmission quick. We're going to get all of our internal parts out and lay them on the table so we can inspect them. Oh, wow, yeah. That center support's walked in the case, and it's probably because that drive shaft was too long. And he's lucky Those case lugs were on their way out. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about here in a second. Okay guys, I'm going to buzz through this as fast as I possibly can. Here's your low reverse piston. The seals look to be okay. Let's check out our low reverse clutch pack. Make sure you get all your washers off the bottom of your parking gear and off the top of your planetary. Let's lift this out. These look okay. And yeah, reverse was working good. First was working good. Those are pretty good looking frictions there. Let's check out the sprag. And you don't see that often. An updated center support sprag from the 350. Smaller diameter than the 4L60E. I can get the thing back in there real quick. Come on. There you are. When you're checking your planetaries, you want to check side to side, not necessarily up and down. You want to check up and down, but that's not as important as side to side. This planetary feels really, really good. Gonna get a new bushing for the inside of there. Alright, low reverse, good to go. Let's pull the intermediate clutch pack off. It looks to be okay as well. You can still see the Raybestos logo there in the frictions. These look amazing. And like you said, this transmission was leaking and it had some weird quirks to it. The band looks brand new in it. That's awesome. Band looks brand new in it. The seals on the pistons must be okay. Let's pull the drums out and check these out. I'm going to pull this intermediate sprag off here and check it. Give it a good shake. That's a good sprag. And we'll put that race in the washer, put this cap back on so it doesn't blow off in the washer. Pop the snap ring out, just flip it over. Yeah, these look really good. Put that to foot press in a minute. Here's your forward input drum. And snap ring out. Pull these out. You can see down in here, that's where that friction material normally comes from. Just over time, that's completely normal. Get that washer off there. And again, these look good. So apparently he's got the transmission in a bind with that drive shaft. And that drive shaft was too long and it was jammed up in the transmission. We had to actually take the rear end loose from the truck to get the drive shaft out of it. So these look good too. We're going to get into this pump next and see if there's anything in there. Sorry about the truck outside. We're moving things around. There's going to be a big storm tonight, so I'm trying to prepare for that. I'm going to find this part real quick, guys. Oh yeah, pump looks absolutely amazing. Good deal. That's usually the case with that's the case with these lockups. There is a bit of a converter groove in there, and it has chewed these teeth down just a bit here on the side, right over here. But for the most part, this thing looks good. I can get some new gears for it tomorrow. And yeah, this thing's going to be back on the road very, very quickly. Beautiful. Yep.